Hello, so we're sowing herbs today. Just a quick one before we get started. If you've just randomly tuned in, this is part of my whole series of videos on how to grow your own veg as a beginner, or the beginner's guide to growing your own veg. And if you check out the link above, there's the introduction video, and you might want to check out all of the videos before this. But yeah, so today we are growing herbs. Now, I absolutely love cooking, which is why I grow lots of veg, and herbs are an integral major part of all the dishes that I grow. So you've got to have herbs, whether you grow them in your actual vegetable garden or on your patio. You can grow them in all sorts of different situations, in little pots, in big pots, and I'll be showing later on in a few weeks' time. I'll be building one of those flash herb planters out of pallets that you see on Instagram and Pinterest. So yeah, I'll be doing that. But today we are sowing some seeds. Like most of the seeds that I'm sowing throughout this beginner's guide, you don't have to sow them indoors now. Basil is a good one to sow straight away, but you don't have to have big pots when you've got your different herbs. So you can sow a nice little pot like that with a few plants and stick it on your windowsill, and that will be quite happy to start with to get you going. But so today we are going to sow oregano. Love oregano. Parsley. Got to have parsley. Parsley's in lots of different dishes. Coriander, or cilantro as you North Americans call it. I actually don't have to grow this, sow this now, because it comes back every single year. In the plants that I grow in a particular bed, they grow so many seeds once they start to flower and gone to seed, that they just come back every single year. No worries. So that is a good herb to grow. A lot of people don't like coriander, but it's an integral part of Indian cooking, and I absolutely love my curries, which you can check out on in my optimistic gardener in the kitchen series. So what do we say? Basil, yes, got to have basil, because basil is in pesto, and you got to have pesto in the summer, haven't you? Fresh pesto, absolutely delicious. So lots of basil, more basil, dill. I grow dill more for just the look of it. I like the look of dill. I don't put it much in my dishes, but we'll grow it anyway. Thyme I've already sown. Now here's something as well. You see, I've got two different. Got a partition here. So I sowed thyme and I've sowed rosemary. Now the thyme has obviously all germinated. The rosemary hasn't. But I would normally keep it all in a warm room to sort of germinate, etc. But that's a mistake I have made. So I'm highlighting to you, it's a good idea to keep your different plants that you're sowing, seeds, in different pots, so that if something germinates, you can bring it outside and you're not waiting like I have with that mistake. Anyway, enough of that rambling. What we're going to do first is some oregano. Usual routine. It's just about the same really for all of these different plants, whether it be vegetables or herbs. Just some ordinary potting compost or seed compost. It doesn't have to be anything special. They don't need a lot of nutrients to start themselves off. You know, that your first seeds just need somewhere warm, something moist to get their teeth into once they germinate, and then you can think about, you know, all your posh compost with all the different compositions, which we'll come to later. But any good compost will do to get your seeds going. So oregano, I want a few oregano, so we will use this one. So all we're going to do, and these are often small seeds as well, very small. So you want to be careful not to sow too many. Now you can probably hardly even see those. Very tiny little grains. So we shall very gingerly put a couple of these, or you'll probably end up putting 5 to 10 little seeds in here. It's very difficult otherwise to do this. And I've firmed the compost down as I usually do before sowing these, and moistened it. I've filled that, and I've still got half the seeds left. There we go, that's the oregano. So just a little sprinkle of the compost. On top, just so you're gently covering the seeds, making sure there's no one of these big clumps really, none of these big bits, nice and fine if you can, and that'll do. And just give it a gentle firm down, mark it up. Oh, actually, you guys in North America call it oregano, don't you? I would say oregano. Right. So if you're going to water this again, a fine rose, very fine, because these seeds, you don't want to dislodge them. So that's the oregano. Right, we want loads of basil. Where's the basil? Oof. It's blowing a right hoolie out there. So your basil seeds are a bit easier to see. Again, you can put these in drills, but I like to just randomly sprinkle these in. Again, not too many. If you need a big tray because you want lots of basil, then do a big tray. There we go. A nice sprinkle of these. Tamp it down just to make sure the seeds have got good contact with the compost. Let's give that a bit of only just a bit of a water in there. So I'm going to, it's exactly the same basically for all of these seeds. So I'm going to finish off these up, mark them up, and then we'll come back to you. So you can see the coriander seeds there. Thought I'd point these ones out. I'm only going to put a couple of seeds in each of these little modules. So I've got a little module one here, and I'm just putting a couple of seeds in, depending on how much coriander you want. These grow nice big bushy plants. Now this coriander, or cilantro as you call it, it's got the two great things about it. You've got the leaves when they're starting to grow, nice young leaves, beautiful in your different Indian dishes and all that sort of salsas, great in tomato salsa, tomato and cilantro salsa, absolutely superb. So they're good, and then once they go to flower and seed, then you have the coriander seeds themselves, which you can crush and make coriander powder, etc., and use the coriander seeds. Now these are beautiful again in Indian dishes. Has a completely different flavour to the actual leaves themselves. So you know, when they go to flower, don't just ditch them, and we'll come to that when we're throughout the season. But two great things coming out of the coriander plant. In fact, I'm going to put 3 in, just in case they don't germinate. just space them nice and wide apart. There we go. 2 or 3, doesn't really matter. And again, the same with these, just a slight covering of compost. Tell you what, this wind's come up a beauty today. Okay, there we go. Mark this one up. Coriander to me, cilantro to you. Maybe. Coriander. There we go. The last one, parsley. These are fairly easy seeds to manipulate. So I'm just going to give these a general scattering. Okay, so that's all the herbs done. Parsley, coriander, basil, oregano and dill in these. And like I said, if you haven't got lots of room and you want some herbs, just a little pot like that on your windowsill to start them off will do fine, and then you can transfer them outside. Once the danger of frost is over, then we'll be transferring a lot of this stuff outside into my cold frame or just into a nice little sunny patio, etc. They'll start to grow nicely. What else have I forgotten? Watering, yeah, don't forget to water them now, just the fine rows, or if you have some sort of tray underneath, fill the tray up with water. As long as you've got holes in the bottom of here, that compost underneath will suck up the water, and that'll keep them nice and moist to start with. So sunny windowsill, and then we'll be coming back to these in a few weeks' time. The basil I sowed the other day only took about 4 days to germinate, and this time, which again, don't forget your time, this only took a few days to germinate, whereas this rosemary is a bit lazy. But we're moving on. Blimey. So yeah, first step on the way to some beautiful flavourings for our dishes later on in the summer. Job's a good one.